This is the website we are going to be building. You can see the transparent header section, and you can see the logo here, the menu items, and then the talk to us button. You can see this beautiful image, which is just sitting on a transparent background, and the reviews. And we can also see the buttons if you want to get the mobile app. Then there is a beautiful design here. Then we have these counter buttons. If I should reload the page, you see them beginning to count from 0 to their allocated numbers. You can see this heading with the, as it were, the gradient background. This is another section here. Then you can see the flow, another image on a beautiful background. Now we have this, how does this app work section, and then the next section. Then these are the pricing plans. You can see this button hovers to bring attention that this is the most recommended plan, and then this is the footer section, and you can subscribe from here. So we are going to be building this website from scratch. We are not going to be using any templates. We are not going to be using anything from anywhere. Everything we use, we are going to build here. We are going to build it from the ground up. Without much ado, let's get on. To build a website, you need web hosting. Now, web hosting is basically where your website files are going to be sitting. And I have a discount code that is going to give you up to 84% for A2 hosting. The link is in the description of this video. If you use that link, you're going to get up to 84% discount on A2 hosting. Now, why should you get A2 hosting? Let's look at the plans. This is my focus here. It has a very, very good deal right now. $1.95 per month. That is an 84% discount. Let me click on this. And that's for shared hosting. So with the basic plan, which is Ignite, you save up to 84% discount. And you can host one website. You can host your website here. And you have up to 10 gigabytes SSD storage, security, site migration for free, core, automatic backups, performance tools, light speed. Now, A2 hosting for several years has always beaten Hostinger in terms of speed. I always recommend both. Just so you think I'm being biased, I've been recommending Hostinger, but I had to recommend this especially because of this deal, and it's maybe going very, very soon. Now, if you click on this, you are going to pay $1.95 per month. If you choose this, you are going to be paying $3.95 per month. That's for the asset. That's 75% discount. This was previously $12.99, as you see here, and this was previously $15.99. I'll just click on Ignite, and it's going to take me here. Now you see when you use that link, you get this discount, this promotion, this promo code is automatically applied, which gives you 84% rather discount. And you can put your information here, put all your information here. So you are going to be paying just $70. That's $70, which is basically nothing when you compare other web hosting providers like Kickstarter charge a leg and a neck. So you just choose your credit card, and then you are going to pay the $70. So for the next 3 years, you are not bothering about web hosting. This 1.95 is even cheaper than Hostinger's cheapest plan. It's cheaper and it gives you more speed. So when you purchase, it's going to take you to the next screen, and you will need to log back into your website. So when you come to the A2 hosting dashboard, you have to log in. So I'm going to log in now. I'm now logged in, and I have some information here. What I want to do is that I want to click on cPanel login, and it's going to bring me this page. Now, when I look at this, if I come back to cPanel login, you'll see I have a lot going on here. I can open support tickets and blurt out my support pin. You can order new services too, but here is where the most of what you are needing is going to be found. If you purchase any domains from A2 hosting, you find them here. If you open any support tickets, you find them here. And you can find your invoices here. So I'm just going to come to the cPanel, which I opened, my website, that is to my cPanel, and I want to search for domains. And I'll click on this first result. And then since we already have, this was already purchased when they were creating this account. If you wanted to add a new domain name, maybe you bought it from Namecheap, like the one which we just saw, you just click on create a new domain, and then you can add the domain name here, and then you can click on submit. On this account, I have access to just one domain name. So I've added this domain name here. The next thing I want to do is that I want to come to tools. Come back to tools, and I want to look for Softaculous WordPress installer or apps installer. This is it here under software. And I want to choose WordPress. I don't want to use this WordPress E2 optimize and all these things. I don't want all of this. I want just WordPress. I want to have full control over whatever I'm doing. So this brings up my domain. Since this is only the only domain name on this website or on this hosting account. I could also choose if there were many. If you have a hosting plan with many more domains, you could just select here and choose the domain name you want, and then you are going to set your username and your password. I'm going to set a username and a password right now. I'm going to change the username and change the password, and then I'm going to install WordPress. I've set my username and my password already, so it's going to give me these options. Do I want to integrate backups, improve page speed, insights, email SMTP, improve rankings and all that, language and all that? No, I don't want any of those. Email installation details. I can choose to email these installation details to the owner of the website. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to add the email here and click the email of the owner of this website. I'm going to add it here, and then I'm going to click on install, and then I'll meet you on the dashboard. WordPress is now installing. So it's installing right now, and I'm told that it's been installed. So WordPress has been installed on my website. I can now go to the dashboard, the back end of my website. It's redirecting me. Immediately I'm brought to this screen. You can see the screen here. We don't need most of this. Most of what you see here, they just come by default with WordPress. So it says, welcome to WordPress. I can just dismiss this. Come to screen options up here. And when you toggle that, I can just toggle off a lot of these elements you see here. We don't need to be seeing them. I'll leave site health status. Now, next, go to post. You see we have this default post here. If I look at this on the front end, this is what it shows me. Now, if I want to view this website on the front end, it's basically just this, and this is being displayed by the default theme which we have. We are going to that. I'll close this tool. And all posts, we have this. If I come to media, of course, we don't have anything on media. And if I come to pages, we have a privacy page. Under normal circumstances, it should also come with a sample page. I'll trash this. And if I come to appearance and come to themes, these are the themes we have now. I'll just delete this. I'll also delete this. Delete. Okay. And then we can't delete this because by default, you need at least one theme. But I want us to add a new theme. And we are going to come to that later. We'll come to plugins. We don't have any plugins. And then if we come to settings, come to general. Here you can put the name of your website, your tagline. Let's say for this, since we want to build a SaaS landing page, I'll just say SaaS. And then you can put any tagline there which you want. I'll come down and I want to change some of the things. You can change your email address there. You can change the site language. You can also change the week of the day. And then I'll save that. So that is that. I'll now come to reading. You can change the pages here. You can change, a lot. We don't have any page. When we've created pages, we are going to come back here and we are going to make some changes. Now let's go back to appearance, go to themes. We want to install a new theme. Click on add new. And the theme we want to install is called Astra. By default, you see it here. But if you did not see it, you could just type in Astra and it's going to bring it up. Now, notice this. There are a lot of lookalikes. These are fakes. See, this one is Astra. No, this is what we are looking for, Astra. I'll click on install. It's installing. Now that it's installed, I'll just activate it. And then it's asking you to install starter templates. We are not going to do that for now. What I instead need to do is to come to plugins. I'll come and click on install plugins. And then what I want to do is I want to search for a plugin. Click on add new. If you already have a plugin you want to install, which you bought, maybe a premium plugin, you can upload the plugin from here. But in our case, we are not going to be uploading any plugin. We want to download a plugin, install a plugin that is already on our the WordPress repository. So I'll search here for Elementor. That's it. Elementor, and this is the one we want. Click on install now. Elementor is installed, so we can just activate it now. Now we have Elementor active. If you like, you can get Elementor Pro, but for our purpose, we are not going to be using Elementor Pro. Now, another plugin which we need, let's come back to plugins and click on add new. I want us to look for header footer. Header. If you just type header, it's going to bring up this plugin, Elementor Header and Footer Builder. Click on that and then activate. Now next, let's go to pages. Since this is a landing page, we don't need too many pages. Everything is going to be done on one page. So we'll click on add new. I'll close this, click on add new. And then we want to create a page rather. We'll just say home. And I'll click on publish. Now that it's published, if you view this page, there's nothing there. We are going to change that. Click on edit with Elementor. So it's loading. Now Elementor shows us this to use AI or not, discover your use superpowers. Let's say let's do it. I'll just close this because it's going to require that I connect to a certain account. Now, this is what we have, but I want to change the layout of this page. Come to page settings up here. And do you want comments? No. Hide title? Yes. So you see this SaaS is not going to be shown on our end product. Page layout, make it Elementor full width. It's going to reload. So I'm going to save and publish that. The first thing I want to do is that I want to add a section. I'll click and add a flex box. And then I'll add this single layout. Then inside here, I want to add another section. So I'm going to click on this plus. And then I'll add another container rather. And what I will do is that I'm going to duplicate this so that there will be two. But you see, they are now stacked on top of each other. How do I fix that? I simply fix that by coming to this parent container and changing the direction to horizontal. So you see, they are now both stacked next to each other. The next thing I want to do is that I want to give a background to this parent container. So I'll click and I'll come to style and I'll come to background type. I could give this a background type of classic, maybe just a color, beautiful color somewhat, but I won't do that. What I want to do is that I want to give it a background of an image. And I'm going to come to my media and I'm going to look for that image. And this is the image I want to use there. So I'm going to use this particular image as my background. So I'll insert this image. It's on the background. You can't see it clearly, but it's there. And the next thing I want to do is that I want to add some heading text here. I'll click on add and I'll look for heading. And then I want to put some text right inside there. I'm going to just paste this text here. I'm going to paste that. And then what I want to do is that I want to change the color of this text. And then I want to change this font type. I want to make it to be Poppins. I also want to make this text to be bigger. I'll make it bigger. Let's say 50. I'll make it 50. And underneath here, I want to add another text. This one is going to be text now, not a heading anymore. I'll add that text there. And then I'll just paste in this text. And I'll make it white. I'll also make it pop-ins. And then I can increase the size. The next thing we want to do is that we want to add a section inside here. That's another container. I keep calling it section, but it's actually a container. So what we want to do is that I want to add another container inside here. And you notice that by default, if I put any item inside here, because I need to add something like a text and an image. So if I drag the image widget and put it inside here, I want to add this reviews or ratings image. I want to put it here. Now, if I go ahead and put another text widget, this is the text widget, it comes under this. And the reason why is because by default, the direction, the orientation of any container you put is vertical, but I can change it now to be horizontal. Now, when I make it to be horizontal, it doesn't really give me the look and feel that I want. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to first of all delete this and then delete this. And then I'll add two inner containers inside here. You are going to see the value of these containers when we start to adjust the mobile layout. I'll add this and then I will duplicate this. So you see they are side by side because we changed the direction of this container. So inside here now, I can add that picture. I'll add this picture. And then here, I'm going to add some text. I'll add this text. And it's going to see 150,000 reviews. So that is that. Now what I want to do is that I want to style this. I want it to be white. I want it to be white first of all. And then I want it to be bolder. I can make this to be pop-ins. Pop-ins. And I'll make it to be 800. Or we can make it 700. And then for these, you could decide, I want this to be a bit smaller. So first of all, what I want to do is that I want to center this container so that everything I put inside here is going to be at the center. I'll first of all start by justifying it to the center. So that is that. I'll also justify this container to the center. Then I now see that it's not really aligned the way I want it. Now, what we can do is that I can first of all make sure that I align this container to be center and then center everything in it. Then now, when I come here, what I want to do is that inside here, I want to come to the padding. I want to increase the top padding. So when I increase the top padding to 30, it aligns both. So both of them are well aligned to each other. So I'm going to click here and then I want to give this a negative top padding. because there's too much space on top of here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to negative top margin rather. I'm going to reduce and reduce and reduce and reduce and reduce. So you can reduce it to any satisfactory point. I will leave it this way. Now, what I want to do, if I click on this image and I come here, I can edit this image. And how do I edit it? I'll click on crop. And then what I want to do is that I want to remove the corners. So that is that. I'm cropping the image and I'll click on apply crop. And then I'll click on save edit. I will select that. So this now is our image. Let me try to see how it looks now. All right, so it's now, I've now removed the corners and it's now showing well. Another thing I want to do is that I want to duplicate this outer container. But now I want to remove this negative margin. What I want to do is that I want to put a box inside here, an icon box inside here. So I'll delete this and I'll search for icon box. This is an icon box. So it's going to have a heading. It's going to have some text and then it's going to have an icon. Now, what you can do here is that you come to style and then you can change the alignment. When I click on the alignment, you see now the icon is going to be on the left and then the text, the heading on top and the text beneath. The icon I want to search for is Apple. So this is what I'm going to use this. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to make it to be white. We're coming to that. And this text which says, this is the heading, I'm going to say available on. Available on. I'll make it all caps. Available on. And then here I'm going to say Apple Store. Apple Store. Or let's say App Store rather. So now I want to customize this. I'll come to style. The icon should be white. And then we'll come to content. The text should also be white. I can change the text font to Poppins. And then I'll reduce the size of the text. And then the description, App Store, I'll make it white. I'm also going to make it Poppins. But I want to increase the size a little bit. That's too big. I'll make it 18. And then I'll make it 500. Now I want to give this this entire icon box some padding. I'll first of all come to style, give it a border. Actually, it's going to be under advanced. I'm going to give it a border. And I'm going to give it a solid border. Border type solid. And the color of the border should be white. And now what I want to do is that I want to give it the border radius. So I'm going to give it the border radius. Actually, what I give it is a border radius. The border width should be 1. I want to give it a border radius of 10. And then for the border width, I think we'll leave it the way it is. Now what I want to do is that still inside here, I want to come to padding. I want to turn off the padding. And then I want to give it a top padding of maybe 10, bottom padding 10. That is that. I think it's necessary for me to give it the left padding of, let's say 20, not 200, 20. And then the right padding, we'll leave it the way it is. If I instead reduce the right padding, I begin to run into problems. So I'll leave this one the way it is. And I think I like the way this is looking. I'll just go ahead and increase the border width a little bit to be 2 all around. So if I look at this here, that is looking pretty good. Now I'll do the same. I'll just duplicate this. I'll duplicate this, and then I'll delete what is here. And then I'm going to drag this way. And then here, on this side, I want to look for Android. Or let's look for Play. So this is the Play Store. I'm going to insert that. And here I'm going to say Play Store. Play Store. So for this one, we want to give it kind of a gradient background. So I'm going to come inside here, and for the background type, I'll click inside here rather. I'll click inside here, and then I want to come to content. No, not content. Yes, content here. And then you can change the background colors here. You can change the icon color. You can make the icon color to be anything you want. Let's say we want to make this kind of bluish, or, something like this. That is all up to you. You can change it as much as you want. But what we want to do is I want to change the background of this entire section. So we'll come to advanced. Scroll down to background. Where you see background type, we can make it a gradient. That is a gradient. But we can now select the location. We can now change the location of the gradient. You can make it to be 90%. And then you can select the angle. I'll make it to be angle 90. So this is the gradient of this background. Now you can change the first color of this gradient to be something, let's say, something bluish. So I want to change the color. So we can leave that as the gradient. Now, what I want to do is that I see that this is too close up here. So let me reduce the closeness of this text. I'll make it -80. Then I want to instead increase reduce the top margin of this. I'll bring it up here. First of all, the first thing I want to do is that I want to turn off the padding and the margin for this. And then I want to bring it up a little bit to meet up with this one. So that's -50. Now on this side, We've not added anything there yet. What I want to do is that I want to add an image. I want to add an image here. So I add the image widget, and then I want to upload an image. I'm going to upload this particular image. It has a transparent background. I'll insert that there so we can see how it looks. Now, if I go and try to preview this on my home page, let me see what it's going to show me. So this is what it shows me on my home page. Not quite the look and feel I'm looking for, but we'll go ahead with the customization. The first thing we want to do is that I want to reduce the size of this image, of this mobile phone image here. It is too large. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here to the image, and then resolution, I'm going to say custom. Now, the resolution, if we look at this, let me close this. If we look at it here, it is 688 by 1000. So we want to make it to be 70% of what it is. So what I'm going to do is that the first thing I want to do is I want to make this first column, I want to make it to be, let's say 80%, while this one takes up the rest of the space. And then also here, I want to come in here and I want to come to this navigator. I want to search for these particular items. Okay, so this is the container in which they are. And I want to come to layout. I want to remove the gaps. I want to make it 0. I want to unlink this to make them 0, like I've just done. So I want to close this, and I want to make this image, if I look at it now on the front page, it's still going to be too large. Still too large. So what I want to do is that I want to reduce the size of this image, and then I want to reduce the size of this text. First things first, I'll reduce the size of the text to be, I'll make it to be 45. And then I'm going to make this particular image, I'll reduce the resolution to custom, and then I want it to be 60%. So that is 688. I'll make it to be 75%. It's going to be 516, and then times 750. And I'll apply that. If I apply that, and then I look at this on the front end, I don't know, but I think it's still too big. I'll make it, let's say 60% or 65%. So 688 times 65% is going to be 448. 448 by 650. If I publish that and I look at that on the front end, this is exactly how I want it to be. So now if I come here, what I can do is I want to give this entire section, if I come, I want to give this entire section a top padding, or a top margin rather, of let's say 100. Yes, I think 100 is good. And if I look at this on the front end right now, so it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. But I want to give some more space. And then I want to align this background image. So I'm going to come back here. And for this image, I want to change the way it shows. So for the position, I'm going to say, let's just say default, attachment, then repeat, no repeat. And now display size should be cover. So you can see right now it is covered. it covers the entire section. If I go now on the front page, you can see this is how it looks on the front page right now. So we are actually getting there. We are actually getting our page. It's beginning to show. So I want to go ahead and customize the other details of this page. So I'll come here, and what I want to do next is that I want to add another section, and it's going to be a flex box, and it's going to have 3 columns. So how do I add those 3 columns? First thing I'll do is to add 2 columns, and then I can duplicate one. What I want to add here first is a counter. I want to put an image counter. I'll put an image counter there. And it says 100 million. And you see, it tells me image number prefix and number suffix. For suffix, I want to put M. So it's going to be 100 million M. But instead of 100 million, I want to make it 740. So it's 740 million. And the title should be worldwide users. Worldwide users. Now, I want to come to style. For the number, I want it to be black. And I want it to be poppins, of course. Poppins. And then, not just that, I want it to be 700. And so for the title, I want it to also be poppins. Poppins. And I want it to be 500. So that is that. I will simply duplicate this. I will duplicate this. I will drag this here. And then I'll duplicate this section too. And here, I'm going to say 990. And instead of M, I'm going to put K. And then I'm going to change it to downloads. No, that's not what I wanted. Downloads. So it's going to be 990K downloads. And then for this third one, I'm going to put 100. And instead of M, I'm going to put percentage. And I'll see 5-star reviews. So that is that. I want to give this section a top padding of, let's see, 80. Don't forget to publish your work. Now what I want to do is that I want to come back here. And I want to come to the entire section, come to layout. And always make sure that you center everything. And then you can even come here and change the width. Change the width so that the items are more spaced out. They are more compacted. So you choose how far or how close you want them to be. I'm going to make it 850. 850. And that is that. So you can also give some more design elements here. Take, for example, I can give a border here. I'll come to this inner section. I'll come to style. And then I want to give it a border. But the border I want to give is not going to be all around. So border should be solid. But it should be only on the right. So the right border, I'm going to make it 1. So you see we have a line here. Now you can change the look and feel of that line. I'll come back to border, and the color, I want to make it to be faint. Faint. To be very faint. 1 minute. I'll make it to be even fainter. So that is that. So there is a faint border here. I'm going to copy the hex code for that. I'll copy this, and then I'll do the same here. Give it a solid border, untoggle this, and it should be the right border. And then I'll paste this here and enter. I'll publish that. If I look at it on the front end, you can see we have this faint border. We have this faint border between these elements. Now, the next thing we want to do is that we want to put some large titles here. So I'm going to add this flex box. I'll add this section. And I'm going to add a text heading here. And first of all, let me just give this a top margin of about 100 to give it breathing space. And then I'm going to change this text here. I will change this text here. I will make it to say recommended. I hope my spelling is good. And I'll come to style. I want this to be centered, aligned. Now, for the color of this text, I want it to be, let's say, I could make it to be blue or this purple here. I'll pick this purple color. I will select that. And then I'm going to Ctrl C. I will now paste that hex code here. Now what I want to do is that I want to change the typography to Poppins. And then it should be 900. Then this should be really big. I could change this text to something else. Let me just see, I change it to trending. And then I don't want it to be too bold as it is right now. I want it to be maybe 700. Yes, so that if I increase the size to 200, it doesn't eat up the whole space. And then I'll duplicate this and say up. But for these, I'm going to align it to be on the right. I'm also going to align this one to be on the right. And what I'm going to do is that I'm going to give this entire section a right padding. I'm going to give the right padding of 100, or let's say 200. So it aligns both. I'm going to make this particular text to come closer to the one on top. So I'm going to reduce the top margin. The next thing we want to do is that we want to add another section. And for this, I'm going to give a flex box. And then I'm going to give the flex box a top margin of, let's say, 70 to give it more space from the section above. And then I want to give it a background, and I'm going to go to style. I'm going to go to classic, and then I'll select this image and I'm going to put it here. You see already, you can see that the image is repeating. So when we come to position, I'm going to make it top left. It should be top left. And then repeat should be no repeat. Display size should be custom. So I can reduce the size now, let's say to about 25. I think 25 will do. If I feel it's larger, then I'm going to reduce it. Now I want to add a container inside here. I'll add a container here, and then I'll change the direction of this container to be horizontal. I'm going now to add another container inside, and then I'll duplicate this and duplicate this. So I want 3 containers inside. Now, for each of these containers, I want to add an image. I want to add a heading and some text. So I'm going to drag an image and put it inside here. I'm also going to drag a heading, and I'm also going to drag some text. So for this image, I'm going to upload this particular one. I want to give a heading. So I'll insert that. I want to give a heading. I'll paste that there. And then I want to give some text. I'm going to put this text inside here. I'm going to paste the text. Now, what I want to do is that I want to give this entire section, this entire column, I want to give it a background of white. So I'll come to style, and I'm going to come to background. I'm going to give it color of white. And I also want to give it a border. So I'll come to border, and for the border, I want it to be solid. You could make it grooved, but I'll make it solid. I'll make it solid, and then the width should be 2. But the color, I want it to be very faint, very, very faint. Something like that. So it's not very visible. I can make it even fainter. Let me come back here. And I want this to be solid. So I want the border to be something of that sort, and very faint, very faint. So I'll leave it at that. Now, I want the border reduced. I want the corners to be rounded. So I'll make it, let's say 30. And then I want to give this, I want to give it a margin, not margin rather, but padding rather. So I'm going to make it this way. Should be all around, should be 40. And then I want to align this image to the left. I want this text to be somehow black, not really fully black, but very dark. I want to make this to be pop-ins. Then I want these two to be pop-ins. Pop-ins too. So that is that. So this is what we have for the first. Now I'm beginning to see that the border is not even visible. So I'll make this a bit darker, a bit more visible. So I still don't see it. So let me make it a little bit darker again. Let me bring it down. And if I look at this now, it should be visible. Now I will delete this, and then I will duplicate this, and I'll still come back to the border. I will make it a little bit darker so that it's more visible. I'll copy this text. copy here again. I'll come and paste it here. Border. I'll paste it here. I will duplicate this now again, and then I'll delete this last section. So here, I want this text to be darker. I'll copy, paste style. I want to change the image here to something else. I'll use that image. Then I want to change the text. I'll insert this image. I'll change the text. I'll paste this. That's the heading instead. And then this text, I'll just leave it the way it is. I will change this next heading. I'll paste that there. And then I want to change the image to this. All right, it's loading. So that is that. If I publish this and I want to view this on the front end, let me see how it shows. This image, first of all, is still too big, and then it's almost squashed to the end. So the first thing I want to do is that I want to come to this section. I want to come to the layout. And I want to reduce this to 1080. Let me see how it looks on the front. No, I'll leave it to be 1140. 1140. But as for this image, for the position, we could use a custom position. So for the X position, I'll make it to be, let's just say 30. And then the Y position, I'll instead reduce it so it's more visible. I'll make it more visible. Then I want to give this a top padding. This section, a top padding of, let's say, 100. If I do that, let me see how this looks on the front end right now. Okay, so I'm going to increase the top padding of this section to 150. And then for the style, I'm going to make this 20. So this is how you use the X and Y coordinates to adjust items on your website. I think this is better. Then as for the size of the image, you can customize the size as much as you want. So I'm just going to leave this the way it is. I want to add now another section, and I want to add another section, and I'm going to add it beneath here. Now, I think that this text is a little bit too big. So if I could make this to be something like 15, and then I'll copy, paste style, and also paste style. I want to add another section. I'll add a flex box. I'll give this, of course, a top margin of like 80. I think that suffices. I want to give an inner container now inside here. an inner container. And for this, I will not add an inner container inside here. Since I need just two containers, I will just give this outer section a horizontal direction. And then I'm going to duplicate this. First of all, I want to give this a background, this entire section a background. So I'll come to background type, classic, and then I want to select, I want to use this background type. We can use any of these would suffice, any of these would do, but I feel like it's more optimal for us to use maybe this. I'll just insert that there into this section. So now what I want to do is that I want to add some text here. I'll add a heading. I'll add some text. And then I can add an icon list. So this is the icon list. I'm going to add that there. What I want to do here is that I want to give this text and say subscribe and get 15 days free trial. "15 days free trial." I'll capitalize this. And I want to make that to be white. I also want to make it to be poppins. I want to increase the size of this text. Subscribe and get 15 days free trial. And I want to put some text beneath that, beneath the subscribe and get 15 days free trial. I'll paste this text here. And then I'll make this to be white. Poppins. Poppins. I'll reduce the size of the text. Let's just make it 14. For this here, I want to give it the first item and see ticketing system. Ticketing system. And then we can look for an icon here. Let's see, checkbox. We can use any of these. I'll use this one. We can use this one which is round. So that is ticketing system. I'll come to the icon. I want to make it to be white. And then I want the text to also be poppins. What I'm doing here is very manual. You can set all the font sizes and font style and color in the theme dashboard. And then for the icon, I want the size to be a bit bigger. Okay. I want the size of this icon to be this. And for the text, I want it to be a bit thicker. Not bigger, but thicker. It could be 500. 500. That's typography. And then the size, let's say the size could be 15. So if I now come back here, I'll just delete these two. I'll duplicate this one and see automated ticket distribution. And for the next, I'm going to say social media integration. social media integration. So that is that. But when I come to style, I want to give some space between these items. They are too squashed. I want to give some space. Now I just decided that instead of this image, we could use something else. Let me remove this, and then I'll use something else. I'll use this. You may not see the effect right now, but when we add something else on it, you are definitely going to see it. So I'm going to insert that there. And then I want to give this background, this a dark blue background. Dark blue background. So that is that. So I'm going to add an image here. So I'm good to my files. I'll select this, and then I'm going to add that inside there. I will just insert this. I will insert this, and I want to give this top margin of, let's say, 80, and bottom margin 80. I can increase the top margin to 100. So that is that. And I can also reduce the size of this image. First of all, I want to see it, how it looks on the front end. To me, it looks kind of really good. I don't know if there is need to reduce the size, but I want it to fit very well into this section, given that the text on this section is not much. So I'm going to reduce. I want to look at the size of this. The size is 601 by 721. So I want to reduce it by down to 65%. So 601 times 0.65, that's 621 rather. Yeah, 601 times 0.65 is going to give me 390. So I'm going to make the size custom, and the width should be 390. Then 721 times 0.65 should be 468. 468. And I'm going to apply this. So that is that. Let me check if maybe perhaps I've reduced it too much. Yes, I think I reduced it too much. Let me make it 69601 times 0.7.80. That's 0.80. So it's going to be 480 here. Sometimes this, then 721 times 0.80 is going to be 576. If I apply that, I think it looks better now. Let me see this on the front end. So this looks better now. I just need to center these items. So what I'll do is I'll click here and then come to the layout tab, and I want to center these. I want to center them. So you see they are centered right now. They are right now centered. Let me publish this and see it on the front end. Okay, so this is this on the front end. This is what it looks like on the front end. Now, not forgetting the mobile layout. If we check how the mobile layout looks, we see that there's still some more work to be done as, with regards to the mobile layout. There is still some more work to be done. Anyway, we are getting there. Now we want to move to the next step, and we want to add the next section. The first thing I'll do is that I'm going to add a flex box, and then I want to add a heading. Oh, it seems there was already a section here. And then I want to make this, I want to see working process. Then under this, I want to add another heading. So I just duplicate this, and it's going to say how does the app work. Or just paste that text here, paste. But I want this to be capitalized, and that is that. I want this to be centered. I want it, for now, I'm just going to make it to be purple, the same purple we used here. I'll say Control C. So I'm going to paste that here. And I want to make this to be poppins. Like I said, we are going the manual route. I don't know why I'm still doing that now. And then I'll increase the size. I'll decrease the size actually to 20. I'll copy the style here and paste style. And I'm going to increase the size. I'm just going to change the color to black. I'm going to increase the size to, let's say, we can make it 40. And then the weight, let's make it 70. Now I want to add another section here, but it should be inside this one. So I want to drag this container and put it inside there. And then I want to make the direction of this container to be horizontal. Then inside this container, I'll add another container. I'll duplicate it. And then still duplicate it. So what I want to do here is that I want to add an image. And then, not an image, but an icon box. I want to add an icon box here. Icon boxes are very important, especially for me. I use them a lot. So for this icon box, you notice that if I click on this direction, it changes everything. That's not how I want it to be. I want it to actually be an icon box. So I'll just revert the change. But if I make it this way, that's if I align it to the left, this is how I want it to be. So the first thing I want to do is that I want to give a heading here, and I'll come back to content. I'll give it a heading. Then I want to give it some text. I'll just copy and then paste the text here. Now for the heading, I want it to make it to be black. First off, before going to the heading, I want to change this icon. I want to look for the download icon. Download icon. Let's look for upload. Okay, I'll look for download. The download icon. So if I look for sign up, let's see what it shows. None of this really. I could just use this. I'll use this. I'll use this. And then the view, I want it to be framed. I want it to be framed. That is, yes. Then the shape should be circle. You can make it square. But I'm going to make it a circle. And then I'll come to the style. Icon spacing, you can change this. I'll just leave it at 15. Content spacing, I can give it some space to make it not too close to the text. And then the icon, let's come back to the box. Yes, that's good. Then the icon, I want to change the icon color to be dark. Yes, I want the color to be dark. You can make the secondary color anything, but I'll leave the secondary color the way it is. So then the border width, you can change the border width. When it was 2 pixels, it was too thick. We could make it this, or let's say 2. So that is that. And then for the content, we want to change the sign up text to be black. And then we want it to make it to be Poppins. Poppins. But I want to reduce the size of the text to 18, and then it should be 700. Then this text here should also be dark, and it should be Poppins. Should be Poppins. I'll increase the darkness of that text, but I want to reduce the size of the text. So it's going to be this, and then I want to increase the line height a little bit. So I'm going to make that, and I'll make it 500. That is that. Now I want to duplicate this section. Now for this icon box, for the icon, you could increase or decrease the size depending on your preferences. It's now 47. If I go ahead and make it 45, I think 45 is good. So I'm going to duplicate this. For this primary color, we could still change it to be this color here. Control C. So I'll make it this color. I think that is better. I will duplicate this now, and I'll drag it here. I will duplicate this, and I'll also drag it here. For this, it's going to say download app. Download app. And then this other one, enjoy the features. I'll paste this. So I will change this icon to download app. I can use this for download, and then I'll use this particular one. I'll look for shield. So I could use this. Enjoy the features. Let's preview this. I'll save and preview. It's not showing here yet. Okay, I already see there's an issue, and it's the spacing on top of here. I'll give this a top padding of 100. Or we could make it 110. So I'll save, and I want to preview. So this is this. Now I want to go to the next stage, which is the next section. Rather, I'll add this section, and it's going to be this section here. I'll give it a top margin of 100. And then I want to give it a background type. And then I'll come to my assets. I'll use this. I'm going to put it there. I'll just insert that. And then inside here, I want to give, as it were, two inner columns. I'll give, first of all, this one column. And then I'm going to give an inner column inside here. So I'll make the direction of this to be horizontal. I'll add another container. And then I'm going to duplicate this container. But I don't want them to be equal, width. So I'll make this to be, let's say, 80%. And then I want to drag a heading inside here. And I want to paste that heading inside here. Then I want to make this heading to be white. And I want it to make it to be poppins. I also want to increase the size of the text. Okay, so that's the size of the text. I want to add now a text inside here just beneath this heading. So I'm going to come to text editor. I'm going to put it there. I'm going to paste this text inside here. I'll come to style. And then I'll make it white. I'll also make it poppins. Forgive me, we are going manual today. I know we are all AI people, but we are going manual today. The president of my country says we are the Android generation. So I guess I'm betraying the Android generation. So that is that. Now I want to add a heading and then some more text. I will now add, let me just duplicate this heading, but I want to drag it beneath here. Now I'll change this heading text to be this. I'll paste it there, but I want this to be smaller. So I'm going to make this smaller. Let's say 20 or 22 will do. Now I could add some icon list beneath here. So what I want to do is that I want to add a container. No, I don't think a container will be appropriate. So I'll just add an icon list. So that's going to give me, I'll delete these two. I'll copy some text from here. And for this icon list, I just want to put the item there. And I want to delete that last one. I'll come to style. For the icon, I want to change the icon, of course. Let me look for check. I can use this one. And I can make the icon to be white. And the size of the icon, let it be 20. And then the text, I want it to be white. The typography should be poppins. And then I want to reduce the text to be 14. And then I'll duplicate this. No, I don't need to duplicate it from here. I can just come here and duplicate this. And then, of course, I want to increase the space between them to be 10. And then I'll just add some more text down. I'll paste that there. So that is that. I can increase the line height of this. I'll increase the line height so that the text is not to join together. So I'll make it 22. That is that. And this should be 500. So it's thicker. I'll make the same here 500. So you see it's more pronounced, more visible. Then on this side, I want to add something like an image. I'll add an image here. And I'm just going to upload the image. And I'm going to use this image. And I'm going to insert that. So right off the bat, if I publish this and look at it on the home page, so this is what we get here. Now, I think it's good, but I feel like it could be better. So what I'm going to do is that I feel like the text here, it's a little bit too big, considering the fact that my screen is actually small, but so I'll make this 37. I'll reduce this to 13. I'll reduce this to be 13. And let's see, I can increase the size of this, or not the size, but I can come to this section with the image, increase the all-round padding. I'll increase the all-round padding to, let's see, I could make it about 60. Yes, if I now save this, and I want to look at this on the front end. So that is that. Now I want to increase the top padding. I'll make this to be 80, not 800, but 80. And the bottom is also going to be 80. Let me just see how this looks. I think this is looking good. This is looking quite good. So I'm going to come back here. I want to duplicate. I want to add a section. It's Flexbox. And then I'm going to copy this. I'll paste that there. I'll copy this too. I'll paste this here. And then I'm going to give this a top padding of 120, not 1200 for the nth time. And then I'm going to copy some text and paste it here. And then this one here is going to say best pricing. Sorry for that. So we want to adjust the, I want to make this to be on 2 lines. So I'm going to break this text from here with a line breaker, and it's going to be thus. If you hear any sound, that's my UPS. They just took our lights here. So that is that. We have no hidden fees. We can change all of these headings to be caps, to be capital letters. Extras should be capital letter. Charges should be capital letter. Plan should be capital letter. Your should be capital letter. Choose should be capital letter. The next thing I want to do here is to add a pricing section. So that is the pricing plans. The first thing I'll do is that I'm going to create a container, and I'm going to create a container. I'm going to add this. Then I want to add these containers inside. I'll first add a single container. Then for simplicity's sake, I'm going to just duplicate this particular container. So I'll first of all make the entire section to be horizontal facing. So now when I duplicate this container, they are going to be stacked next to each other. I will duplicate this. So the first thing I want to do is to add a section inside here. Now on second thought, I'm going to just first of all delete all of this, delete this, and then this is one container. I'm thinking that is better for me. First of all, I'm going to leave this direction as it is default. And then what I need to do now is that I need to add another inner container here. I'll add another inner container inside here. And then if I come to this navigator, I want to, you can rename this inner container. You can rename it. Where's the rename field? It should be somewhere. Anyway, I'll just use it the way it is, but I wanted to rename it. Now, what I want to do is that I want this outer container to have a horizontal direction like this, but so that when I duplicate this container, we have them stacked next to each other. So there it is. I'm surprised I'm unable to rename this. I don't know if Elementor has changed some stuff here. Let me see, edit container. Okay, I'll just go ahead with this. So these are inner containers here. And in this inner container, I want to add some elements. So let's just say this is the first pricing table. This is the first pricing plan. I want to add an inner container inside here. And I'm going to add this one. So this one, and I'm going to change the color background. I'm going to change the background. I'll come to style. I'll come to background type. Let me just make it see gray for now. And this is just for the purpose of being able to identify. What I want to do now is that I want to come to the container wherein this one is lying. That's this particular one. I want to come to this container. And you see the padding here. We're going to come very shortly and we are going to turn off this padding. But I want to work with this one here first. So we're going to turn off this padding and the padding of the container outside. So let's work with this first. So I just discovered that the issue with renaming is that it's no longer right click. So when I click on this container, I'll just double click on it. I'll see first price. So that's it. And then this one, I will name it second price. Second price. This is just for the purpose of being able to differentiate them. And then for this container, I'm going to name it third price. And then I'll leave it the way it is. I'm not going to need all these two eventually because I'm going to duplicate this when I'm done doing what I want to do with it. So for now, we are on our first price. So here, I want to give this a background. Now, we want to add some elements here like text, and we also want to add some headings. First thing I'll do is to drag some text element here. That's a heading element, heading widget, and I'll paste it here. And it says basic plan. I'm going to change that to basic plan. Now I want to add some text. I'll just look for the text widget and put it beneath here. And I'm going to paste that there. Now I'll just delete the extra space. The first thing I want to do is that I want to make this to be kind of white, the text color to be white. And then of course, typography. I'll just use our global fonts here so that I don't keep having to change typography all the time. And I'll say poppins here. And also I'll make these poppins. I want to make this global, the typography rather. And the text, the global text should also be poppins. So I'm going to make it that, and I'll make this to be white. Now I want to make this background color to be black. I'll make this to be black, this shade of black. And then I want to give this an all-round padding. I'll first of all make the padding to be 0. And then I'm going to give it an all-round padding. Let's say I could make this, the top padding, to be 20, not 220. 20 may not do, I'll make it 40. The right should be 20, not 200. Bottom should be 30. And then left should be, let's say 50. So that is that. I could reduce the bottom padding to be 20. And then the left could also be 40. So that is that. The next thing I want to do is that I want to add another section. I can duplicate this section. I want to add another section beneath this. That's another container. So I'm going to do this. Now you see both of them, there is like a gap between them. I'm going to do away with this gap when I reduce the spacing in this container. If I click on this container, into this container, come to the layout tab. If I remove this spacing, if I unlock that spacing, you see the gap is removed. So here I want to change the background color. I want to change it to white. I want to change the background color to white. And I want to change the text here to free. And I want to change the text color to be black. So the text color is going to be black. And then for this, I can just remove them for now. I don't need those for now. So beneath this, I want to add an icon list. I'm going to search for an icon list. I'm going to drag it and put it here. So I want to first of all remove this, the last 2 items and work with this one first. So the first item we are going to add here, we are going to see, I'm just going to paste, and then I want to change the icon to this particular checkbox. That's the best I can think of. And that checkbox, we are going to come to style first of all, and we are going to change the icon color to be black. And then the text, we also want it to be black. The text typography, the font family, we want it to be poppins. And I want the size to be something like 14. Let's say 14. And I want the width to be 500. And I want the color to be pure black. Pure black. So now if I come back here, I can duplicate this. And then I'll change the text. and see backlink analysis. I'll paste that there. And then I want another one. And it's going to say 10 free optimizations. I'll paste this here. Now, so this is this. Now, we can also go ahead and increase the line height. That's the space between the items. Let's make it, let's just see 10. I think 10 is good. And if I come to the icon, I can increase the size of the icon. So let's see 16, and the size of the text, I can also increase it to 15. And then that line height there, I can reduce it to, let's see, 8. Next thing I want to do is that I want to add a button beneath here. I want to add a button, so I'll search for a button widget, and I'm going to add it beneath here. And it's going to see purchase plan. Or let's just say it will see choose plan. I'll come to style, and I want the color of the button background to be white. I want it to be white. I want the text color to be black. And then I want to give it a border. Border type should be solid. And the border width should be 1. And then the border radius, I want to make it maybe 30. I'll make it 30. And then I want to change the padding. I'll unlock the padding, and then I'm going to give it top 12, not 120. Sorry. I'll make it 20, top 20, and bottom 20, left 40, right 40. So I'm going to make it thus. I think it looks good this way, but we could make it left 50, right 50, or left 45 and right 45. I think 45 is in order. If you hear a baby crying in the background, it's my son. He gets that way when they give him food. So I'll make this 18 top, 18 down, 45 left, 45 right. So this is what we have for this entire section. Now, the section inside which this container is inside, that is this first container. Where's the first container? This should be it. No, this is first price rather. I want to toggle off the padding. I want to come to, just use the navigator here, click on this first price, and then I want to come to the advanced. I want to toggle off the padding. You see it flushes. It flushes. And then now I can give it, let's say, a bottom padding of 40. So it gives some space beneath here. It gives it some space beneath here. That is what I want you to do. And then also, I want you to be able to come to style and give it a border. I will choose the border. It should be solid. But when it comes to the border width, I want to toggle this off. And then I want to give it a right border. And then the color should be white. You are going to see the effect when we go to the next. So now, I want to delete this third, and I want to delete this second, and then I want to duplicate this first. No, let me undo that. Let me delete this, what I just did. What I want to duplicate is this entire section, this entire column which says first price. I'll use the navigator to select it, and then I want to duplicate it. First off, there is something which I forgot to do. Before you duplicate, I want to turn off the margins too. I want to turn it off. Let me delete this now. And then if I click back on this first price widget, No, let me delete this too. And just delete this. If I click now on this first price widget, and I duplicate, no, we are not there. First price container, and I just duplicate. I'll duplicate from here. And for these, I'm going to name it second price. Second price. And then that is that. I'll also duplicate from here. And it's going to be the third price. Somehow, I still see these spaces between, but I wanted them to flush. So I'm going to come and deal with that very shortly. Now, when I come back to this first price, I notice that I did not turn off the margin. I turned off the margin of this section instead. So I'll come to first price, and then I want to turn off the margin. And then I come to second price also. And I come to advance. I want to turn off the margin. And then this should be third price. Third price. I also want to come to advanced and toggle off the margin. Now, for me to close the gaps between these boxes, these price boxes, what I simply need to do is to come to this parent container here, and remove the gaps. I'll toggle that off. You see, they are now flushed. And the lines here, it doesn't show down here. So what I want to do is that I want to give it a grayish color, the borders. I'll come back to style for this. And borders, the border type, let me click on first price rather. I'll come to style. And then the borders, I'm going to change this to a grayish color, which will be visible on both. So that is that. I'll copy this color. I'll copy it. And then I'll click on second price. Come to style. Go to the border. And then I want to paste that price here. Same thing for third price. I'll click, come to style, go to the border, and then paste that hex code here. I also want to duplicate. That's okay. I also want to duplicate third price and make it fourth price. And I'll see duplicate. So we now have fourth price. I'm going to change the name to fourth price, of course. So this is this. These are the pricing plans that we have. If I publish this and then I try to view it on the front end, let me see what it gives me. I need to complete this bot verification. And if I view it now, the pricing on the front end, I think it looks quite good. It looks quite good. So we need to come back and do some work here. Now, I'll come back to this. And for this basic plan, it's free. But for these other plans, I think we need to do some work here. The first thing we want to do is that we want to change the content. So for this one, it's going to be premium plan. I'm going to change the price here to premium plan. And then I'm going to change the text to this. I'll paste that there. Then I want to change, I'll just remove that space. I want to change the price. Before changing the price, I'll change just these items here. First one, I'll paste that there. Second one, I'm going to paste this here. And then the third one, I'll copy this and I'll paste this here. Now, if I come back here, what I want to do is that for this button, I want to give an animation to this button. And for us to be able to give some animations to this button, we are going to have to use Elementor Pro. So I'm going to put a link in the description for you to get Elementor Pro. I'm just going to install it. I already have it downloaded on my computer. Now you notice that if I come to, before I install Elementor Pro, if I come to Advanced and I want to use motion effects here, all of them are locked. I need Elementor Pro for this. I can't use this. It tells me to upgrade. So I have Elementor Pro. I'll just go ahead and install it right now. On my dashboard, I'll just go to plugins, add new plugin. I'll upload plugin. And then Elementor Pro is already installed on my system. I'm going to install it right now. It's installing. And I'll activate the plugin. So it tells me to upgrade Elementor. Let me just upgrade that. You know, there are updates to Elementor every single day. Now that Elementor is upgraded to 3.24.3, I can now come back to my website. Let me just publish this. And then I'll just reload my page. So I've reloaded my page. If I now come back here, I click here and I come to Advanced. I now have the ability to edit the motion effects. So if my mouse is brought over this, what should happen? Entrance animation. I can choose an entrance animation for this particular section. So mouse effects, scrolling effects. When you scroll over, what should happen? We could see something like this. That the button should go up, but I don't want this. I don't want that. So we can use a blur effect. A blur effect. So when you scroll over this, there should be a blur of up to level 7. Let me just update this and let me look at it on the front end. So you see, when I bring my mouse over it, it blurs for up to 7 seconds, but that's too much. We could use other effects. Take, for example, transparency. When you bring your mouse over it, it becomes transparent. And then you can adjust the viewport. So I'll update this. And then I'll go back to my front end, the front end of my website. And then I'll see what happens if you scroll over it. You can play with these settings here. But in this case, I simply want to use, as it were, the mouse effect. And I want the mouse track to be direction opposite, and the speed should be, you can even make it 0.6 or 0.5. And then the 3D lift should be 1.5. So I'm going to copy this and paste style here. Paste style. I'll first of all publish that. And then I'm going to do the same thing for these 3 buttons, so that once you bring your mouse, it's hovering over them. At the same time, I could decide that I want this to apply only to this, our basic, most recommended plan. So I could just come back to Advanced and then come to Motion Effects and then toggle this off. And then this is going to be our most recommended plan. I'll come to this, come to Advanced, and then I want to enable the motion effects here instead. So turn on motion effects here, speed 0.5, 0.5 because we want to draw attention to this. 3D lift should be 1.5. Or let me just leave it at 1. Or you could make it even less so that this brings attention to this particular button. So I'm just going to publish that. And then I want to change the items here, the text for the items here. Copy. I will change this. I'll paste that there. I'll paste this here. And then I'll paste the third item here on this third one. I think it's the same. And then I'll do the same for this last one. I'll copy the first item. I'll leave the first one the same. Change the second item. And then change the third item. And that is that. I think the third item should be the same rather. So now what we want to do is that we want to change the pricing here. For this one, if we just wrote, let's say $29 per month, you see it's not looking really good. So we want to use some basic lines of code here. I'm going to put sup here in braces, and then that's for the $sign, and then I'm going to write sup here. Now I put a line breaker instead. Sup. So you see it's going to make this $sign to be small. Actually it's supposed to be sup, not sub. Here should be sup. So you see it makes the $sign to be small and it raises it up. And then for this per month, I want to make it to be sub, like Subway. And then I'll close it. Sub. So you see, the month is now smaller. However, it is still not looking like we want it to look. We want this month to be a lot smaller, but we can't do that with just the Elementor widget or whatever Elementor provides. So we need to use custom CSS. So I'll come to Advanced and come to Custom CSS. For these two, you need Elementor Pro. And I'll paste this CSS code here. You see, it now makes this to be a lot more, it makes it a lot more smaller. So if I come to the text and I give a space here, you see it now looks just as we want it to look. So I'm going to copy this. I'm just going to duplicate this and then I'll bring it here. You can't do this without Elementor Pro. I'll duplicate these two and bring it here. And then I want to delete these ones. I want to delete this one. And for this, I want to copy some text here. And then I'm going to put it here. I'm going to change this text here. I'm also going to copy this. And I'll paste it here. So for this, it's going to be $58 per month. Actually, I was supposed to put that here. Let me drag this. Let me duplicate this and drag it here instead. And I'll change everything to black. And I'll delete this. I'll drag this here instead. I will delete this. I will change this to white. That was a mistake. My bad. And here I'll say premium plan. And I want to change the size of this text. I want to make it, let's say 20 or 24. I think 25 is good. I'll copy the style, paste the style here, duplicate this, bring it here, and it says advanced. Advanced. I'll bring this down here. I'll duplicate this, bring it here, and say business plan. So that is that. And then I'll drag this and bring it here. So here, I'll copy style and paste it here. Paste this here too. Delete this. Delete this. So this one is $58. $58. This is $98, or let's say 89. Somehow we have some space here. This should be beneath the text. I'll remove that text. So you see, we want this to represent our most elite plan, which is the plan which we want to promote very highly. So the first thing I will come here and do is that I want to change it to be this color here. So if I choose this color here, Ctrl C, and then I want to choose this particular container. I want to change the background color to this. So that is the background color, and even the button color should be different. I'll come to style, and I want the background color of this button to be that purple there, and then the text should be white. And then I want this entire column, which is second price, I want it to have a purple border. So I'll come to our navigator. This should be the third price. Third price. I'll come to the border. I'm going to change. I'm going to first of all give it the border background to the entire section. And then I want to change the color to this. So I'm changing the color to that. And then I want the border to be rounded. $15. Now let's look at this. If I come to my home page, so this is how I want it to look. I'm going to remove this motion effects for this particular one. I'll come to advanced. Motion effects. I will turn this off. So only this particular plan should have this over effect. So you see, that is how it shows now. And that is exactly how I want it to be. So that is that. Now, one thing which I want to do is that I would like to give a little bit of a background color to this entire area. So I want to come here to this entire section. I'll first start here, and I want to give it a background color. First of all, I will paste that hex code which I copied there, and then I want to reduce the opacity and reduce the transparency too. First of all, let me come here, bring it down, and then reduce the transparency to something like this. And then if I copy this, I also want to paste it here. I'll paste that background color here. So this entire section, you can see how it looks. Now we already see that we have this particular part here. It's not really showing the color down here, beneath here is a little bit different. So how we fix that is by coming to third price, which is this entire section, and then come to style, come to background. I want to change the background color to white. Want to change the background color to white. So that is how we do this. And it shows now where. Now, one thing I want to do is that I want to come to the border. I want to come to the border and I want to make it thicker. That's the purple should be thicker. And if I now come to my home page and when I reload, this is what it shows me. So this is looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. But you see, if we look here, it's like there's a little horn popping out here. It's because we did the background radius for this entire section, but not for the inner sections. Let's come in there. And then I'll come to container. Under this third price, we have two containers. We have this one. So you can come here and change the border radius. So you can change the border radius all around to be 15 or to be 25. I think it was 15, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it 25? It was 25, I guess. So you could make it this way. You could do that. And you could reduce the radius for these lower sections. Let's say this is going to be, if I reduce this probably is going to be the left. And then this one is going to be right. No, it shouldn't be right. It should be bottom, left and bottom. So only these two top areas are reduced. So I think it was 20 and 20, or 15 rather. 15, I think. So that is that. I'll publish that and we can go ahead. So we have our plans showing. Now I want to increase the bottom padding of this entire section. Padding, I want to make the bottom padding to be 40. 40 is not enough. I'll make it 100. So that is 100. And then top should be 20. 20 is still not enough. Let me make it 40. So these are the plans we have. Now the next thing we are going to do is to do our header and our footer. But before we go to header and footer, now I want to give some effects here. First thing is I want to give an effect here where it says work in process, here where it says best pricing, and also for this text. So for us to use these effects, I want to give them a gradient. And I'll just come to plugins. I'll click on add new plugin. And I'm going to look for PowerNet. PowerNet. Yes, this is it. PowerNet add-ons for Elementor. So I'll install that and I'm going to activate. And this is the only functionality I need from PayNet, this gradient text. So if you want to enable all, you can enable all of them, but your website is not going to load fast. So I'm going to disable all and then enable only this gradient text. And then you can save changes. You don't need to register anything here because you are using the free plan. So when you save changes, now if I come to my website and I click on this text, you'll see this is all I get here. But when I now reload this text, this page rather, it's reloaded. If I now come back to this same text and I come to style, you see PAFE gradient text. So toggle this on. Now, immediately I toggle this on, you see it already gives me this gradient here. Now, you can change the gradient colors as you so desire. Take, for example, this was the color we used here. If I want to copy this particular color and say Ctrl C, and then I want this to be the base color, I can paste that here. So you see it changes a little bit. Now you can also change the angle of the gradient. I could make my 90. So, and I could make it not linear, but radial. So it's going to be somewhere beneath and somewhere, location. And then this, you could make it center. You could make it center right. You could make it center or bottom center. You could make it where center left. You could make it this way. So you can use it as you so desire. Now I'll use it to be center left, and then I'll just copy the style. Copy, and then I'll paste the style here. I'll paste the style here, but nevertheless, what I want to do is I want to reduce the top margin like it was before, so that these two texts can be close to each other. Let me see, minus 100. Or let me just. So I've made it minus 86. So that is what we have there. Then here, we could do the same thing too. I will do the same thing here. I'll come to style, turn on PayNet, and then I'll paste that hex code there. What was that hex code? I'll copy it here, and then I'll paste it here. I'll paste it there, and the same thing here. Come to gradient, turn this on. I'll paste that hex code there. So that is that. So you can change. That is how, in a nutshell, that is how you use gradient text on your website. Now for these buttons, you can link them to whichever page you want. You can put the link here. Maybe you have some subscription or something of that sort, or you can link them to a payment gateway. That is all up to you. I'll just publish my page. From here, the next thing we need to do is to create our header. Now, for us to do a header, there is one thing we need to do on this particular website, and is that I'll come to settings, and where you see page layout, I'll change it to Elementor Canvas. So when I change it to Canvas, you see the header that was there is no longer there. It's no longer going to be there. It's loading. Since we have content on the page, it may take a while. Now you see it has loaded, and it says this is just a draft. Our design still remains the same, but on top of here, you notice that the header is gone. Let me just publish this. And then now, if I come to my navigator, you see we have this plus button here. I'll just click there, and then I want to drag a container and put it inside. And for this container, it should remain boxed, but I want it to be 1230. Then I want the mean height to be 108. And I want the direction to be horizontal. That's direction row. Then justify content space between. Align item should be center. Now come to advanced. Don't forget to publish so that you don't lose your changes. When I come to the advanced tab, I want to toggle off the margin. Then I'm going to make the margin minus 108. 108 minus 108. Then for the padding, I'm going to toggle that off too. So for the top, I'm going to make it 10. For the right, I'm going to make it 30. For the bottom, I'm going to make it 10. 10 rather. And for the left, I'm going to make it 30. So the one thing you already discover is that for this section, we need to add more padding on top. So I'll right click on this and click on edit container. And then I want to come to advanced. I want to increase the padding, the top padding of this section. Edit container. So I'm going to come to padding, and the top padding, I'm going to make it 100. Let's say 120, because the margin is going to take, the header is going to take quite some space. So I'll come back here. Let me just use this navigation, and then I'll come back to this container. Now, before I go ahead, what I want to do is to go back to the back end of my website and to add a menu. So you notice that this is a single page. It's a single landing page. Let me reload. This is a single landing page. So we are not going to have different pages. So the menu items are simply going to lead to one of these sections, to each of these sections. Take, for example, we have this home section, and then we can name this whatever we want. You can name this whatever you want. So in my case, I can just name this pricing section, process section, trial, features. So I'm going to come to menus. I'm going to say main menu, and this should be the primary menu. And then there are going to be custom links, not pages, because for pages we have just one page. So the first custom, I'll put the URL just as a pound, just the pound sign, and then I'll say pricing. And then here I'm going to see process. And then here I'm going to see trial. And then I'm also going to, if I come here, and then I will see, I could also see, something like info. So I'll add that to menu. And then, of course, I'm going to add this page, our home page. So I want to come to home. Then I want to come to info. Then trial. Which one comes first? Info, trial, process, then pricing. So that is that. And then I can save that. And if I come back to my home page, here, I would like to add a logo. So now from this section, these widgets, I want to add our logo. So I'm going to drag an image widget and put it there. And then I'm going to select the particular image. I already designed our logo. This should be it. It's a logo with a transparent background. I'm going to select that and insert it there. You cannot now see this because it's hidden behind. But first, I want to link the logo I want to link the logo so that it's clickable. So I'll click and make it a custom URL. Then I want to click here and choose dynamic tag. Where do I see that? Click on dynamic tags and then choose the particular URL. I'll choose the site URL. So when you click on the logo, it's going to take you to the home page. And then I'll save that, publish that first. Now let's go to the style tab. I want to make the logo to be centered, align centered. And then the width, I want to make it percentage. Pixel rather, and it should be 180. 180. And of course, the logo is not visible right now because it's behind this section, but we are going to fix that. So in order to do this, we'll come to the advanced tab, and where you see Z index or Z index, we'll just make that 99. And you see when we make that 99, our logo comes to the front of the page. Now don't forget to publish that. And then what we need to do is we need to add a menu here. I'm going to come to widgets and search for menu. And I previously wanted to use this header footer builder menu, but I'm going to use the WordPress menu. I'm going to bring it and put it somewhere around here. Let me make sure I'm doing this the right way. I'll just drag it and put it close to this logo element. I will search that again. WordPress menu. I'm going to add that there. So you see, automatically it aligns to the left. And it has immediately picked up the main menu which we created. Now, I want to style this a little bit. Now you can see, let's just look at this. You can see the way it is. If I want to style this, I'll come to the style tab. And I first of all want to make all of these to be pop-ins. The menu items to be pop-ins. I want them to be something like 16. That's for the menu items. Then I want to change them to be white. Each of them to be white. I don't think that font actually changed. Let me see. Okay, it did. But I'll make it pop-ins. So it changed. That's white. So I want to make the weight to be, let's see, 700. 700. So that is that. Now, if we come to hover, when it's on hover, what should the text color be? We can make this something pinkish. I think something like this will work. It should be pink. For this, I'll go to primary. I don't see, it's not popping here. I don't know why it's not changing. Let me go back. Okay, so it's supposed to be here, pop-ins. So it's now changed to pop-ins. And then let's see if we make it 700. I'll just increase this text to 16. I'll just make that 18. And then I can publish that. So this is how it looks on our website. But you can already see that there is a lot of that text there is too thick and I don't want this line under. So I'll come back here and I'll see on hover, this active should also be this. Then the pointer should be transparent. Even on hover, there should be no pointer. It should be transparent. Now, let's publish that. By the way, I want to make this to be 600. Weight, not 700. Let's come here. And that is that. Now you notice, that if I click on this, nothing happens, nothing happens. So I want to make this in such a way that when you click, it takes you to a particular section. Take, for example, info should bring you here. It should bring you here. And then trial should bring you here. Then process should bring you here. Then, of course, prices. So I'm going to come to our menu items. And for each of these, info, I'm going to make it pound info. Trial, I'm going to make it pound trial. Process, I'm going to make it pound process. Pricing, I'm going to make it pound pricing. I will save that. And then I'm now going to come to, this is the area for info. I'm going to come to advanced. When you see CSS ID, I'm going to say info. It should be exactly as you wrote it. Then here I'm going to come to advanced and the CSS ID. I will do the same for the rest. This is the subscribe or trial section. I'm going to say trial. And this is the info section. I'm going to come advanced and give it the CSS ID of info. This is the, where is the process? Okay, this is the process rather. This is the process. And then this is the pricing. And I'll say pricing here. And if I publish this and I come to the home page, I reload. Now if I click on home, of course it's home. If I click on info, it takes us to the info section. And if I click on trial, it takes us to trial. And if I click on process, it takes us to process. And of course, if I click on pricing, it takes us to the pricing section. That is extremely cool. So we can move on. Coming back to our menu. And if I come back to our menu, I'll just click on that. I'll come to content. And then I'm going to align this center. And then coming down to toggle align, I'm going to align it to the right. Still on the style tab. If we come to the toggle button, I'm going to change the toggle color to white. You're going to see that when we do the mobile mode. And then the hover color should be something yellowish. And then I'm going to leave it at that. One thing I want to do is that I want to reduce the size of this logo. I'll make it to be something like, I'll just make it 120. And then I'm going to publish that. If I look at this on mobile, so you see now it aligns well. This is going to be well aligned on the mobile screen. I'll come back to the desktop later. Now I want to add a button. So I'm going to search for button. And I want to drag it and add it to the menu. So I'll add it. That's where it's falling. But on this navigator, I'm going to bring it beneath here. So here it is. Now you see all of this is already too much to the left. So what I can do is that for this entire section, I can come to the container and, you can make it, we could reduce I can make it space around so that you see now we've reduced how far it is exposed to the left. And if I publish this and look at this on mobile, we still see this button here, but we are going to work on that. Let's come back to the mobile. Now I want to style this button. The first thing, I'm going to click on it, and then I'll see talk to us. Talk to us. And then you can link it to any page you want. I'll come to style. And for typography, I want this to be poppins. And I want this to be 16. And I'm going to make that to be 600. And for the text color, I'm going to make it, of course, to be white. The background color, I'm going to make it to be transparent. And then border type, I'll make it to be solid. Border radius should be, let's say 2. And then the border color, white. Border radius, I can make this to be, let's say 5. I'll make this border width to be 1. And no, I'll make it to be 2. Border width, I'll make the border width to be 2. And for the padding, top should be 18, not 180, 18. Bottom should be 18. And then left and right should be, let's say 35, not 350, 35. I'll make it 45 rather, like the last one, and then 45. So this is this. And for typography, I can make this 17. What I want to do is that I feel like this 45 is too much. I'll reduce this to 40. Or even 37, and then 37 here. I'll just make them 35. So that is that. I'll publish that. Now, if I try to look at this on different screens, let me look at this on tablet. This is not bad, but I want to hide this button on tablet and mobile. I'll come to advanced and I'll come to responsive. I'll hide it for tablet and desktop. And mobile, if I come to mobile, see the same thing here. So this is going to be hidden on mobile. So what do I need to do to make this really look good? Now, when it comes to the mobile menu for the tablet version, we can come to style and want to make sure that on hover, that's clicking here, and the drop down, click on drop down. We want to make sure that on hover, the background color, the text should still be somehow blackish, but the background color should be transparent. So we can do that there. And then the active, same thing, background color should be transparent. And then it should be the same blackish. Now, there is something else you can do. If you decide, you can come to content. And then when you see mobile description, the breakpoint, instead of tablet being 1024, you can make it none. Then it's going to show all of these items here. Now, if you come, just click on the menu items, come to style. You can come here and close the horizontal padding. This is going to apply only for your tablet. And then you can even change the size of the text on your tablet, and then you can make the width to be 500, the width rather, but I'm going to leave it like this. So if you do this, then on tablet is going to show all your menu items. Now, because of this button here, we cannot really see the full, aesthetic of this. So you can even increase the horizontal padding to maybe 14. So this way on tablet, since you have just few menu items, they are going to be aligned here. It's not going to be a drop down. And then just make sure to publish that. But of course, if we come to mobile, we need to come back to content, and we want to make the mobile, the breakpoint should be mobile portrait. So this is going to apply only for the tablet mode, but for the mobile, we want it to be breakpoint, and it should have a drop down menu. So let's come to that, and we want to come to style and drop down, and then want to make sure that the text color is black, or we could make the text color white here, but the background should be transparent so that it's clearly visible. And then on hover, the same thing. Active should also be, it should be somehow grayish, and then the background color should also be transparent. For the mobile though, I want to select this header container, here. No, not this. I want to select the header container, and then I want to come to the advanced tab. After selecting this, I want to come to the advanced tab. The first thing I want to do is that I want to make sure I toggle this off, and then I'll make this minus 108. 108 minus, as minus, and then I want to toggle this off, and then I want to give it 20 pixels on the left and 20 pixels on the right. So you may not really see it here because of this effect we have here, but it's actually really aligned the way we want. Then on the top here, I want to give it -7. -7 rather. I'll give it 7, then I'll put it minus. So you see it removes a lot of the clot and the bloat. Then publish. What we want to do now is to create the footer. Now this is how our page is looking, and it's looking equally good on mobile. So for the footer, we want to come to our back end, and then we want to go to templates and look for theme builder. And it's going to load. You can only use this theme builder if you have Elementor Pro. So I'm going to click on footer. It's loading. Elementor gives us these templates. I don't want to use any of these templates. I'll just close that. And I want to use our own template. I'll come to settings, preview settings. I'm going to leave that the way it is. If I come back here, and it says Elementor footer. Now what I want to do is, I want to click on this flex box, and then I want to choose these columns. Or I can close this first and just add a flex box with one column. And then I'm going to add a container inside. And I'm going to duplicate this container. Now they are stacked on each other. So I'm going to click on the main container and change the direction to horizontal. Then I want to come to this, and I want the percentage to be, let's say 80, or even 75. So I'm going to make that 75. And here I want to add our logo. I'll come to, and I'm going to add an image inside here. I'm going to look for our logo. I'm going to add another color of our logo. I can use this one. I'll use that one. And then I'll copy. I'll select this and put it inside here. And then what I want to do now is I want to add some text beneath here. I'll drag this text editor and then I'm going to put it here. I'm going to paste it there. The next thing we want to do is that we want to include a sign-up form. We want to include a sign-up form where they can sign up for our newsletter. You can use a MailChimp form, but I'm just going to use this one, the basic Elementor Pro form. And then I want to delete these other ones, and then I want to leave just email. So for the placeholder, I wanted to see your email, and then I want to remove the label. I want to remove the label there. And I want to make this to be 60%, or let's say we could make it 70%. We could make it 70%. And then for the button, let's come to the button. We want to make it 30%. Now, we could still make this to be smaller, but let's just leave it the way it is. And then we want this button to be this hex code here. That's the button color. I'll Control C. And when it comes to style, I want to first come to the button and I want to paste that there. I didn't copy. I'm going to paste this here. And the button text, I want it to be subscribe. I want it to be subscribe. And then when we come to style, we can change this. We can change, how this appears. Now, when you look at this form, you see that this field is quite narrow. You could change that by coming back to the content and coming to this field here. And when you see advanced, no, not under advanced. When you see input size, you can change this to be medium. You can change it to be large. You can change it to be extra large. So that is all up to you. I could make it large just simply because I want to make it more visible. So in that case, when I come to button, I will need to make the button bigger too. So for the button, the text padding, now I'm going to toggle that off. Top, I could see 20, not 200. Bottom, I could see 20. But let's just see, I could make the top to be 22 and the bottom 22. So now I could change the text here. I could change the text here to the styling of the text there. Let me go to field and I want to make this to be poppins. Poppins. So you see that there, including the text on the button should also be poppins. That is that. So this is this for this text, for this field rather. And then I want to change this text to also be poppins. I want to make it darker in complexion. And I want to make it poppins. And I also want to make it to be 500. Then I want to add some icons underneath here. I'm going to come and search for icons. I'll drag this underneath here. What's happening? It's supposed to have shown. Anyway, while that takes its time to show, let me drag that again. Okay, it's showing now. And then I'm going to edit this. So for each of these, I want the shape to be circle, and then the column should be auto, and then the alignment should be that I'll align it to the left. And if I come to style, the size of the buttons, we could reduce them to something like this. And then you could also change, maybe you want something like, maybe Instagram. One Instagram here. And of course, the almighty LinkedIn. LinkedIn. I'll search for this. I could use this instead. So we could use this. And then for this part, we want to give this button, this particular button, we want to give it a background color of maybe black. This particular area, not button, rather, background color of black. So I'll make it black. And then inside here, I want to make this particular button to be, I want it to be horizontally aligned because I'm going to add some sections inside. So I'll click here and then come to layout. I want it to be horizontally aligned. Then I want to add another container inside. And inside here, I want to add a heading, and it's going to say company. I'm going to paste it here. It's going to say company. And then I want to add some, lines of text. Not lines of text, but, columns. If I look for icon, I'll look for this icon list, and I'm going to put it directly under here. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to delete the icons. I'll remove this. And then here, the first one, I want to see company profile. I'll paste that there. The second one, I want to see help center. Help center. The third one, I want to see services. The fourth one, I want to see plans and pricing. I'll use the ampersand. Plans and pricing. And then the fifth one, I'm going to see team members. Most often, a landing page will not have all of these, but I'm just doing this for demonstration. And then the sixth one, contact. So that is that. Now what I want to do is, I want to come to style, space between. I'm going to increase the space between these items. So 8 is good. For text, I want the color to be white. Not totally white, but grayish. I think this is good. Typography, pop-ins. And then I want to increase the size to 14. And then I'll make it 500. Then for this list, I'll increase the spacing to 10. Then for company, I want it to be white, and it should be pop-ins. I'll make it smaller. I'll make it, let's say, 16. Or I could make it 18. How does it look? Yes, that looks good. So now I want to duplicate this entire section. So what I need to do is just to duplicate this. So we have the same thing here. And here, I want to say community. And then for these items here, the first one I want to say career. Second one, leadership. The third one should be press and media. Press and media. The fourth one should be projects. The fifth one should be marketing services. The sixth one should be challenge of progress. Let's just say projects. Or let's just say reviews. So that is that. Now, what we want to do is that I want to duplicate this two. But here, I want something a little bit different because I want to have I want the icons here, but I want a lot more for the icons. We see this and that. So here, I'm going to delete, let's say I'm going to delete 3 of these. I need just 3. For the first one, I'm going to paste this text, and then I'm going to use a line breaker. And I want to add an icon, which is something like a house. I could use this. And then for the next one, I want to see support at company.com. And I want to use an envelope. I could search for an envelope like this and use it here. For this one, let me search if there's a better image of that house. Let me see address. We could use this one. Let's use this one. And then for the fourth one, or for the third one, I want it to be a phone number. And I'm going to use this particular one here. All right. And then I'm going to see plus 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the number. I don't know if that's a real number, but we'll use it the way it is. So if we come to space between, for these particular ones, we want more space. So one more space. The icons, we want them to be white, or rather to be black. Icon should be black. No, not black, but white. The icon should be black or white, but the size should be bigger. The size should be bigger. All right. So that is that. Now, what I want to do is that I want to remove the spacing. First thing I want to do is I want to make this full width, not boxed, but full width. And then what I want to do is I want this to not have a padding. I want to turn off the padding. And then I want to turn off. No, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to give this all around padding, maybe the left top padding should be 50. I think I messed that up a little bit. I've given all around 50. I think that is good. I can now turn this off and then give the top 150 or 100 rather. And then the bottom should be 100. Then for this, I will do the same thing. I'll come to padding. I'll give all around padding 20 or 30 rather. And then I'll turn this off. Then the top padding should be 100. And the bottom padding and all the others. The right padding should also be 100 or more. I'll increase it until I'm satisfied. So I'll make this 150. I'll now come to this entire section. Let me use the navigator. This entire container. And what I want to do is that I want to come to gaps. I want to remove so they flush each other. And I want to come to advanced. I want to turn off the padding. So you now see they both flush on each other. So I can see if that is going to bring me, I'll add my conditions. It should be on the entire site. Then I'll also say on all archives and on all singular. Then I'll save and close. So this is this for the, for the footer. Let me check this, how it looks on the front of the website, on the front end of the website. Now, what I notice is that this particular field, I don't really like the way it looks. I want all of them to be squashed. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to first click here on this outer container. And if I can make this to be boxed rather than full width. So this is for the content, not for the entire section. I'll increase. Let me just say full width. And I'll leave that to be full width, but I can increase the padding here. So I want the left padding to be 100. And I want for this side, the left padding should be 50, or I'll make it 80. And then the right padding should be 250. I'll save that. And if I check this on the front end, I think this is looking good. This is looking good. I'm going to reduce the size of this particular element here, which is this form. So I'm going to say, come to content. For this item, I want it to be, let's say 60. Yes, I want it to be 60. And then if I come to style, or still on this side, I like the way it is right now. I don't want it to be too stretched. And then for this, I'll come back to this. And then the left padding, I'll make it 200. And let me check this on the front end. I think I like the way it looks right now. I like the way it looks right now. Now, I want to give this a little bit of a background, like we did here. We did the background we used on this section. Yes, this is the back. This is the section. I'll come and pick the background color here. I'll copy this. I'll come to this section, come to style, background type. I'll paste that there. And that is that. For this, I'm going to increase the line height, the space between to 15. These two, the space between, I'll make it 15. Same here. I'm going to make this one 25. And then if I publish and we check this out on the front end, so this is what it looks like. And I think I'm feeling really, really confident about what we just did. Now, one thing we need to do is to go to the back end of this website. At the beginning, I told you we're going to come back to general. Let's go to general, no, reading rather. Reading. And I want to change home page to a static page, and it should be home. I'll select that. If I go back now and view this page, so this is what my page looks like. This is what the page looks like. Somehow, this is not yet being shown. The footer is not being displayed. Let me come back to the footer. And I want to go to display conditions. And I'll say entire website. Yes. Singular page. Let me go to singular page. Oh, okay. I know what's the issue. The issue is that we had set this as Elementor canvas. So it doesn't show any extra footer. So I'm just going to copy this section and then I'm going to add it to the home page. I'll add it to the home page as a section here. I'll paste there. So if it was Elementor full width, that was going to be showing, but it's Elementor canvas. So that's why it's not being shown. I'll put it on the home page. And if I reload my page, this is what it shows me. I want to put a little bit of a line, a top margin there. So I'll come here, back to edit home, and I'll click here, come to style, come to border, select border type solid, border width top should be 1, and it should be this color. I'll publish that. And if I load this page, so this shows me this particular color. So that is our website in a nutshell. I'm thinking that probably I could change the background color here. I'll go to style. And I'll just increase this. And that is that. Now we are done with the desktop layout. Let us look at the mobile layout of the entire site. So for the pricing plans, it's okay. This part is okay. This part is also okay. Here we can change the size of this text. I will change the size of the text. This is okay. These, to me, they are okay. For this text here, let me publish this. And then if I come and view this on desktop view, If I come to advanced, I want to check how it shows. I want to come to navigator. Where is that here? This should be it. Okay, the heading. So I'll come to mobile layout. And I discovered that this section, I gave it a right padding on desktop of 100. If I remove that here, and I want to reduce the size of the text for mobile, I want to reduce it to, let's say 75. And then app, I want to reduce the size of this app text to 75. And then I want to remove the top padding. So I'm going to change the padding for this section to minus, let's say minus 50. That's the top margin rather. Then the right margin, I'm going to increase it to 20. Let's say 20. This one to the right margin, I'm going to increase it to 20. Then for this, the background, I want to reduce the top padding. I want to make the top padding to be, let's say 70, not 700. 70 is still too much. I want to increase this to, I want to make it to be, let's see, 40. For these, I'm going to click here. I think these ones, they are okay. I'll leave them the way they are. For these particular ones, I'm going to reduce the size of this text to something like 35. I think 33 is in order. 33 is in order. For this, I'll change the size of this. I'll make it percentage. Then I'll make it 50. I'm also going to change the percentage. Change this to percentage. Now make it 50. If I change this, if I reduce this to 49, and then this can be 50, and they're on the same line. I'm going to do the same for this particular container. This is the main container. If I click on this container and I want to make it percentage, and I want to make it 49. For this other one, I want to do the same, percentage 49. So this is this. If we want to make this to align for each of these, we can reduce the size of the icon. All right, first of all, I see that it's changed alignment. So we want to make this to be aligned to the left as we had previously done. And then we want to change the icon size to 25 or to 30. And then the content, want to reduce the content, want to make the content size to be 10. And then we want the description to be 11. Let's make it 11. And then we come back here for the box, and the spacing, we want to reduce it to be, let's say, 4. So we're going to do the same thing here. Unfortunately, I can't just copy and paste because it's going to remove this gradient background. But I think I can just copy the gradient, the gradient background here. Background. Anyway, I'm just going to do it manually. I'm going to come here, style. I'm going to align this center. The icon size, let's see what we did here. Icon size should be 30. We'll do the same here. Icon size, we'll make it 30. And for this, the text, title should be 10. We'll do the same here. Title should be, no, here. Title, no, not there, here. Title should be 10. And then the text should be 11. The text should be 11. And then the spacing should be 4. Same here, icon spacing should be 4. So that is that. And I can reduce the size of this text on mobile. I can make it 14. 14. And 500 px should be 500. So this is this for the mobile layout. For the rest of it, I think I like the way it looks. I like the way every other thing looks. So for this, we want to remove, we definitely want to remove some stuff here. For this, we want it to be, I want to remove the padding here. Okay, I want to start the padding afresh. And I want the all-round padding to be 10. Then I want the top padding to be 20. And then I want this to be horizontal, this entire section to be horizontal. Then I want this particular one to be in percentage. And it should be 50 or 49. Then I want this one to also be in percentage, and it should be 49. But I can reduce it to, somehow it's not okay. I reduced it to 43. And let's see if I reduce this to 48. And then I increase the size of this to be 44. And then I can reduce the line height, the space between. And I'll just copy First of all, the text, I want to reduce it to 13. And I want to copy and paste style. Then for this, I'm going to align them center. Yes, here, I'm going to align them center. No, it doesn't really look good when I align it center. So I'm just going to leave this part the way it is. But for this entire column, I want to give it a bottom padding of, let's say, 40 or 50 will do. And then top should be 40. And then for this section, I want to come to advanced. I want to toggle this off. I want to give it the top padding of 40, not 400. What I want is this entire container here. This entire container, I want to give it the top padding of 40. Oh, no, it's not going to work. I'll come here. So this is already, I can reduce the size of this. If I come to style, I can change the width to 40. Can change this text to the middle. I can change this. I want to give it a padding right of 40, padding left of 40. So, and for these, I can align them to the center. I can align them to the center. Mind you, this is just for mobile. And then I'll give this entire column here a bottom of 40. So this is the grand finale of this tutorial. It's been quite a long one. You think that just being a landing page is going to be very easy, but that's not always the case. If you got any value out of this video, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell so that when I put out any video like this, you'll be the first to be notified. And if you have any questions, please put them in the comment section of this video, and I'm going to respond to your comments very promptly. God bless you. Peace.